Hi Astro friends, this is Melanie here on the 13th of June 2022 and it's after 6 p.m. and still full on bright sunshine, or yeah, it's not super bright, but it is not super sunny but bright. And yeah, we're only 1 week away from summer solstice on the 21st of June. Can you believe it? And also the supermoon is coming up tonight. So tomorrow exactly at 4:52 a.m. if you want to wake up and greet the supermoon at moonset, that would be, it's actually exactly at moonset here, pretty just before moonset here on the Pacific. Yeah, the supermoon in Sagittarius, late Sagittarius, Gemini is coming up, and I'm sure you've been feeling her building up and coming to fruition tonight. So this is what these video astro news are about, but not only, also the energies for the coming week, starting with the supermoon tonight. So here is the picture of the full moon. Good old manual demonstration, no screen sharing. Hope you can see it well. So you see the full moon axis, the moon here, late Sagittarius, just above, still above the horizon before moonset, western horizon. Set up for Victoria, as usually my charts are, Victoria, British Columbia. And the sun before sunrise, still under the horizon, the sun end of Gemini. And right between them is Neptune here, end of Pisces. That's what's called a T-square. T-square is a sharp angle, 90-degree angle alignment with 180-degree opposition axis at its base. So there's a lot of tension building up, and in this case, mutable energy is the signs in the zodiac that are transitional from one season to another. So for Gemini, from spring to summer, for Sagittarius from fall to winter, before winter solstice, that's where the full moon is at that point, and for Pisces, from winter to spring. Of course, we would also have Virgo from summer to fall, but Virgo is not in the picture. Actually, this picture here shows how imbalanced currently the cosmic energies are. So it's everything is on one side of the zodiac, between late Gemini, or early Cancer, I should say, with Lilith, and late Sagittarius. That's pretty lopsided, and if you have any placement between Gemini and Sagittarius, you would be rather strongly activated directly. And if you have mostly placements between Gemini and Sag, on the other hand, there's no direct activation of those archetypes. You might have some oppositions and squares, so indirect tension or support, but no direct infusion, so to say. That's pretty unfair, isn't it? It's just what it is, and probably something that comes up to process, to work out, or take a break from activation. So always depends on the individual situation. And of course, I always invite you for an individual personal session to explore that in particular for you. Anyway, back to the full moon and her entourage, as I usually say. I'm also currently writing the Astro News via email that goes out for every full moon and new moon. The blog article already is out, and you should see it on my Facebook page. And if you'd like to subscribe to the email Astro News, lots of info there from new moon to full moon, from full moon to new moon for 2 weeks. You're most welcome. Shoot me an email and I put you on my mailing list, or subscribe on my Facebook page. this much for the commercial break. Not really commercial because there's no cost to the Astro News, but I always welcome donations, of course. Lots of work goes into it. Anyway, back to the full moon. Full moon end of Sagittarius. This is what's called, or where the direction of the galactic center is. The center of the Milky Way galaxy is, from Earth's perspective, beyond end of Sagittarius. So that's direction between 25 and 28 degrees Sagittarius. The full moon will be at 23, 25, between 23 and 24. That's pretty close. And what's going on in that realm? What comes up there? Ultimate trust. Ultimate trust that the light returns, and a call to be in our heart, to be in our heart center, and not just having an inner knowing despite the external evidence of light not being present, the opposite of the season we have currently, but having that trust that light returns, and also turning to the inner light, to the heart light, to the soul light, and gaining strength and gaining, coming into integrity from there, and to our truth. And in combination with Gemini, it's about speaking our heart truth. What's the role of Neptune between Sagittarius and Gemini here, right? So Neptune in Pisces, end of Pisces, also stationary. What does that mean? Neptune is about to go retrograde, which happens once a year. Goes retrograde for 4 to 5 months, and that starts on June 28th. So Neptune is slowing down now for this retro phase, for this retro U-turn to start with. The 28th of June will be the next new moon in Cancer. So Neptune per se is already quite a strong focal point this month of June, and now also a outlet and release point for the full moon. So what comes up with Neptune end of Pisces? End of Pisces being also doubly Pisces, just as end of Gemini is doubly Gemini, and end of Sag is doubly Sag. It's a mouthful, right? So what's with end of Pisces? What's with the double Pisces effect? Because technically has to do with the decans or decanates. You can call them different ways. The 10 degrees, 10 degree segments of each sign. The first 10 degrees, the second and the third. And my theory around that, and I find it super valuable and helpful, is that the first 10 degrees have an undertone of the cardinal sign of that element. So if you have Sag, the first 10 degrees would have an undertone of Aries. The central 10 degrees have an undertone of the fixed sign of that element. If you take Sag again, central Sag has a Leo undertone, and the last 10 degrees of each sign have an undertone of the mutable sign of that element. So if you have Sag again, last 10 degrees have a Sag undertone, just as the last 10 degrees of Leo have a Sag undertone, and the last 10 degrees of Aries have Sag undertone. So this much for that. If you want to know more about it, shoot me a message. We can go over that. Either tutoring wise, I can introduce you to that and practice with you about that, or in a session if you have a lot in the last 10 degrees, or all in the first, or all in the central. Anyway, if you're curious about that, happy to go deeper into that for you personally. Anyway, so what's with this end of Pisces, double Pisces? So that's where everything comes together. Everything is being washed out and coming up also for release. Anyway, release is a huge point because Neptune's also a release, at a release point for the T-square. So, what wants to be released here? The Pisces energy, as in, I would say, even Pisces age dynamics. And one strong criterion for Pisces age dynamics is the codependent triad of victim, perpetrator, and savior, permeating Pisces age themes for the last 2,000 years and being sort of a perpetuum mobile, something that continues to come up and continues to feedback, has feedback loops, and recreates itself. So, point would be here, yes, with compassion. We can't just be cruel and say, okay, this is just victim mode. No, I'm not coming from that place, but I would like to encourage you to actually be more empowered by seeing these phenomena in yourself, in the world, everywhere. So where are you tuning into victim mode? Where are you blaming yourself to be the perpetrator? Where are you blaming others to be the perpetrator? Where are you looking for saviors and position yourself as a savior? So all of this is big time up now. Other factors with Pisces that are being washed up now and released are, of course, mass phenomena. So Pisces has a lot to do with mass consciousness and everything that entails, right? So energies that are contagious because you are affected by them, and everybody's in that same pool, and you're swimming in it. You are in that soup together. So lots of that has come up in the last 2 years anyway, as we know. And now it's coming up to be released, to be seen and released. And are you ready to emerge out of Pisces age consciousness while boding farewell, giving gratitude, and and understanding how it has affected you? So this would be a really great time for journaling, for discussions, especially with the Gemini side, for storytelling with the Sag side. And also to ask yourself these questions that are also placed again into the Astro News inquiry questions when it comes to truth, which is Sagittarius, that we might be so hung up on these days. And so liberating inquiry questions would not necessarily to, question answer, but to contemplate are, these are from Byron Katie. And question 1 would be, is this true? Question 2, how do you know it's true? And question 3, who would you be without this truth? Without what do you think it's true? Right? Anyway, so these are great questions that can actually help you with breakthroughs even. And of course, come up with your own along these lines or something that just inspires you too. So this much for the full moon at this point, because the full moon itself and its dynamic with Neptune, because the full moon has also 2 other alignments in its entourage, in its current cosmic picture, and you can see it in the chart. One is in Aries, one is in Taurus. The Aries one is Mars and Chiron coming together. They do that once every 2 years, and it'll be on June 15th, so the day after the full moon. And it's the second time since they come together in Aries, the sign of Mars, because Chiron entered Aries 2019. And in 2020, July 2020, was also an alignment of Mars and Chiron in Aries. Now we have another one and 2 more to come, as long as Chiron is in Aries till 2027. But what about this one? And so Mars is a warrior energy, and Chiron is known as the archetype of the wounded healer. So what's with wounded healer anyway? Sounds sort of, a bit of, So I don't know what that brings up in you, but it is an archetype. Are you emphasizing on wound? Are you emphasizing on healing and on of the healer being wounded, of the wound being a healing agent? There's all these different dynamics, and there's a whole story for Chiron, the archetype in mythology, which really informs the themes very well. I'm not going to go into those now, but we could maybe another time when Chiron changes directions in July, and that could be a special Chiron feature if you're interested. For now, Mars Chiron. So that sounds more like a wounded warrior energy. So what that reminds me, of course, in the news and in the world of the United States is these mass shootings. So yeah, so the warrior energy having gone haywire and having gone berserk and into almost like what has been given, what has been provided as a Second Amendment is now in a way really backfiring. In this situation, I had discussions with American friends. I'm not in the country, but I resonate how much pain all this has caused. And the question is, what is the historic purpose of the Second Amendment and what's its role now? And why are people so much in this aggressive mode and in this also survival mode, which Aries can be? And so what is the current state of the world that puts people so much in that trauma, the stress, and with Aries also brings out early wounds in life and brings out a strong a stress of being on your own, of fighting, battling the elements, battling in this world. You, the lone warrior, you, the lone rider. So all of this isolation, all of this necessity for self-reliance has become actually quite a syndrome of this time. And what is the medicine for that? Yes, there can be lots of healing coming from the outside, a need for belonging and all of this, and a need for meaning and community. Yet, on the other hand, there's also with Chiron the whole notion of finding the medicine in the wound and in the archetype itself, in its themes, like in this case Aries. What is the medicine for and of Aries is to be authentic, to show up as yourself, show up in the now, just like what I did here for this video. I mean, that wasn't a big task, but I didn't do much in terms of preparing myself, looking awesome, and all this kind of stuff. This is one take, and I just want to be here for you now and then carry on with my writing. So yeah, for Aries, facing, Aries rules the face. Here you go, seeing my face as it is. And facing what's there, showing up and being present, and showing up in the new and for the now. So all of that can seem like, yeah, cool, but in reality, it can be really challenging because we carry so much baggage and we carry so much judgment and so much importing into the presence. So Aries would say, just be present, like a kid, like a baby. Can you do it? So what else is there? In Taurus, we see Venus and Uranus and the North Node lining up. That started already on the 11th. Today we have the 13th, right in the middle, and goes on. This alignment of all three goes on until the 15th. So also informs the whole full moon energy. Now with Taurus, in general, the energy settles and grounds and becomes more stable after so much, activation and newness and battles and fast, furious Aries energy. And she, in Taurus, settles and grounds, first Earth sign. However, we've had Uranus in Taurus also since 2019 when Chiron entered Aries. So both simultaneously moved into those signs. And now what's with Uranus in Taurus? 2019 till 2026, now activated by Venus once a year, and then activated by Mars. End of July, early August will be activated by Mars, Uranus, and North Node. I'm definitely going to talk about that when it comes closer. And so Uranus in Taurus, there can be lots of disruption. There can be disruption of habits, of comfort, of stability, of the whole food situation, of the whole businesses situation, of prices in general, of values, and of the body. Taurus rules the body. So it's been lots of disruption, lots of instability in the last 2 years already, 3 years, and more to come to integrate, not to say more disruption necessarily, but the call for awakening, and also disruptions of the earth, Taurus, right, and of nature. So when do we, and what does it take for us to wake up, is the question for Uranus. Uranus is a shaker, a mover shaker, disrupting energy, but also the awakener, a revolutionary energy. And in this case, it can be motivated through the earth, can be motivated through businesses, can be motivated through body awareness and body autonomy, which is also Uranus. My body, my freedom is very Uranus in Taurus too. And so all of that, and money, of course, right? So also ruled by Taurus. Now we have Venus coming in, and Venus being at home in Taurus. That's quite a contrast. Venus loves Taurus. Uranus is the most challenging positioned in Taurus. Now, how does that add up? What would be challenging situations? What would be beneficial directions to go with? The challenges can be lots of disruptions in relationships, and people feel like, oh, I need a break. I need to break up. I can't do this anymore. This has gotten boring, gotten stifling. I'm out of here, right? Or also you suddenly fall in love with somebody, or simultaneously, or you're having a breakthrough when it comes to understanding relationships and your values and whom and what you're attracted to. So all of these themes and also what I said in a bit of a poetic way, hopefully, is like setting your love free and being guided by love into freedom, not by fear or by concerns or by resistance or by war. I need freedom. I need to fight for freedom. So stuff like that. So, but actually through love. That's beautiful. And the North Node also being in Taurus, also asking us to ground ourselves and enjoy life, and a new way of enjoying your freedom despite also all kinds of disruptions that you didn't sign up for and you don't find so pleasurable or enjoyable. So this can be a great wake up and awakening kick. So what else is going on? Mercury is now in Gemini since today, the 13th, and that can lift and lighten up the mental plane After lots of stagnation, also lots of backwards loops and spirals, with Mercury retrograde from the 10th of May till the 3rd of June, and then still in Taurus after the 22nd of May until today, still in Taurus. And now Mercury has grown wings and is in its own sign of Gemini. So that again also brings new conversations, new inspiration, opening the mind, more lightness, and more curiosity, and openness for information, being the learner, being the lifelong learner. I guess I'll sign up. I'll sign up for what? Sign up for doing more writing, but I'm signing off here from these video astro news, unless I see more coming up this week. Next week will be the summer solstice, and we're definitely going to talk about that. Otherwise, that's it for this week. Really culminating already with a full moon tonight, tomorrow morning, and also the ongoing Venus, Uranus, Taurus, and Mars, Chiron on the 15th. Wishing you well, happy full moon, happy supermoon. Celebrate the strawberry and rose moon and the height of the light that's now on. Bye.